All right. So happy to be here. It's always love here on the Facebook Live. Coming to you on a Thursday instead of a Friday because our co host is on set. She's making a movie. So we're going to get into it with a guest host tonight. And I'm going to go get her, hopefully. This time, Facebook is not being the biggest of haters because it'll make me sad. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna drink this lovely Corona. Huh? Hello, Jesus.
Hi! We finally got it together.
I know. I was like, come on, God. I deserve this. This one little thing. How are you, darling? Your hair looks great.
Thank you, my dear. I am doing great. Thank you very much for asking. How are you
Mm-hmm.
with your corona? All right.
Yo, and of course, it's the
This is
familiar.
not regular corona. No, no, no.
Right, it ain't glass bottle. We not expecting to keep this long enough to protect it. Beer, which is fine. Shout
Yeah,
out to
it's fine.
Corona.
Hmm.
So, but sometimes you need something a little hardier to get through the day.
Let's not talk about that because all my rum is gone.
But why is the rum gone?
Because I drank it all. I had all these nice rums from like Colombia and Puerto Rico. I drank it all.
That's rude. I ain't getting none.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
I just got to fix that. I got to come down to where you are. I guess. Okay. So
Hello.
before we get into that, would you like to introduce yourself, New Face?
Hello, my name is Latoya. I am originally from
Yes.
Chicago,
Yes.
but I have been residing in Miami for almost 6 years. This year will be 6 years.
Ooh, it's been that
Six.
long.
I'm trying to figure out where the time went.
I feel that. And I am Trinette, aka the Black Tina Marie. And so we are bringing this week's episode to you a day early because, life is in flux. And so you just have to stay flexible and adaptable because you can always catch the replay. That's the best part.
Do that.
So if people can't catch us live, you can definitely catch the replay. So if you are catching us at any point and you want to share this out, that would be great. If you would like to comment and like and love, you can even give us an angry reaction. Just be true to yourself and your feelings. But yeah, go ahead and share this out. Make sure you like the Facebook page as well. All right, now that the housekeeping is out of the way, tonight we are talking about. I really keep like the phrase running away from home keeps coming up, and I'm like, no, it's like it's more than that, but like kind of.
Honestly, when I left, I was definitely running away.
Yeah,
I had
like adult
had
running away from
enough.
home.
I had
Mm-hmm.
had enough. So I was like, it's time to go. It's really time to go. And I had been trying to
Yeah.
leave for a very long time. A very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig into that because clearly I understand I am coming to you live from Chicago originally, but now from Baltimore.
Whoop
But at
whoop.
least we in the same time zone now, so that's
Yes,
nice.
that makes things so much easier.
Yeah, that's right. But it's the same. It was the same thing with me. Like I really felt like I got to a point where I was already ready to go, and then I was still there, probably like at least 2 more, 3 more, 4 more years after that point, wondering why I was going outside of my mind.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and like there are various challenges that'll keep you in a place. So let's kind of, I guess, let's talk about your journey from Chicago to Miami. Like how,
Well,
where do you feel like, if there was a moment or like just a place in time that you were like, I'm fucking done. I have to move. What was that
well.
like?
All right. So it actually began. I don't think I told you this, but I
Hmm.
did move to Florida. This is my second time being here. My first time was in 2007, and I
Okay.
moved to Fort Lauderdale. My best friend was living in Boca, and I met her when I was on vacation in 2004, I think, on South Beach. I decided to just up and go. I met her on the beach. We were like this from that moment on. And I had been coming down every year because I was like, I got to get out of Chicago. I got to get out of Chicago. And she was like, well, why don't you just move here? You can just stay with me while you just figure it out. And then, you can get yourself a place, start working, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved down in 2007, ill prepared, just didn't save enough money, didn't do enough research. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pack up my car and go.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good idea. So I got down here, stayed with her for a couple of months. I found a job. I didn't even find a job in my field, which was in massage therapy. I just found some old corporate job. End up temping. Got my own place. Like 6 months later, I think I got laid off. And I didn't want to burden my parents with like, yo, I need money. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pack up my car and going back home.
Mm-hmm.
And regroup and plan this out better. Yeah. It took 6 years. Because like you said, life is in flux and things get in the way.
Yes.
And it took me 6 years to finally get back down here. So I left Chicago for good in 2013.
Yes.
And the only reason why I was able to do that is because I had a great support system and loving friends who let me stay with them a year rent free.
Yes.
So I was able to save my money. His name is Victor. I love him with every inch of my being because he's just a man. I love him. He's an Aries. It's Aries season right now. I stay surrounded by Aries, and Aries are like my sidekicks. They're like my sidekicks. They're my people.
Pisces are that for me.
Yeah?
Drowning in fucking Pisces. Drowning in water signs.
I know like 10 Aries. Who knows 10 Aries? Me.
Girl, somebody who should love themselves better. That's who.
I love them.
You know I'm an Aries rising, right?
Oh, so you're talking about yourself. Okay, cool.
Right. I'm talking shit from a place of like, I hate y'all because I understand. My father's April 1st Aries. Girl, it's a mess. Anyway.
Oh.
So yeah. Yeah. So the first time you moved was kind of the like, not kind of, it was the impulsive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Get the fuck to Florida. Move.
Mm-hmm. I had just had enough. I had enough.
Was it like shoveling your car out of snow or a parking ticket?
At that time I was living on the north side, like right on North Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a lot. Like I was tired. It's so crazy because I was tired of the people. I was tired of the energy. Because I was starting to feel that the city was changing. And 6 years later, I was like, oh my God, it's definitely changing. But then it was just a whole lot. I had just, transitioned from corporate to massage. And I just felt like I just had to start all over. New career, new place. I just wanted to get out. I felt like.
So you wanted a clean break.
A clean break. And I think I had just broke up with some dude. It was just a lot.
I think so.
It was just a
lot
going
your business
on.
Out there, but I think so.
It was just a lot going on. And I was like, it's just time to go. So when the opportunity presented itself, I was like, yeah, no questions asked, no plan, no nothing. Just stack up the car and go.
That's how I got to Baltimore.
I mean, sometimes it works.
I almost died. So, that'll send you home.
But you're back. And you're very much alive.
Bam. In full
Boom.
Drinking beers, wearing hats. Just out here living my best life. Because I'm alive. Like there's no second guessing at that point. But I wanted to move to New Orleans. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, I was just like, fucking go be a swamp witch, like gonna move to New Orleans and eat beignets and drink a bita, and I don't know, I'll figure out from there.
And honestly, had you left, I would have been there like half the year. I'm not even lying.
New Orleans is still on the table, but I guess
same.
There was like, as soon as kind of like I got into the hospitality industry in 2016, and around that time there was this mass exodus of bartenders. So I'm glad I didn't go. Like it was just too much new blood. Like I'm from fucking, like I'm also a transplant, being like, it's too many of y'all moving there right now. Like I don't want to deal with none of your stuff. But now, you know, being in Baltimore, which was completely not even a place I considered, like not a place I visited, not a place I had heard about and always wanted to come. Like Baltimore was not on my mind at all. But you know, you get offered an offer you can't refuse. Like, come here, I'll give you a job and a place to stay. And you're like, oh, so how I feed myself and where I'm housed are the two biggest concerns, and you just took care of them. Yeah, all right, I can buy a ticket there. So then I landed my ass here in Baltimore, into a whole lot of stuff I wasn't expecting.
I bet.
But just as soon as the opportunity presented itself, like it wasn't even anything to think about. Like I was supposed to get my apartment rented out, that fell through. I was like, I'm still leaving. Like I was paying my rent in Chicago and my little bit of rent here in Baltimore that whole time that I was here. Wow. So I was putting out like $1,500 a month. Ooh. And I could have just been putting out $3 if I got my place rented in Chicago. So much money would have been in my pocket, Jesus.
Why don't I live in Baltimore? $300 for rent?
That's with a room.
It was a room?
It was a room, and also like she knew me. So but it's also super cheap to rent a room here. It's like wow. $400, $500. It's very cheap. It's Baltimore. Nobody want to be here on purpose. Shout out to everybody from Baltimore.
I'm like, I got a roommate and my rent ain't $400.
Girl.
But I'm in Miami, so it's a different story.
Right. And that was also the thing about getting out of Chicago. It's like, I'm fed up with how hard I have to work. And like, not that I'm not cruising here, but you know, the 2-bedroom apartment I had in Rogers Park, which for people not from Chicago, is on the north side, the furthest most north
side
and east neighborhood in Chicago. Like it's right up against the lake. And then once you go north, you're no longer in Chicago.
No.
So it's north and east. It's close to the public transportation. It's very easy to get around. And I lucked up on a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,150.
That's like a steal.
That's a steal. Like that's not even something you want to say too loud in a room because somebody might kill you and take your apartment. There's no parking. Like, of course, there's the downsides, but I'm taking the train, so I didn't care about parking.
Right.
But like, compare what I can get in Baltimore for that $1,150. Even if it's still a 2-bedroom, it might be 2 baths. It has in-unit washer and dryer or something. Like, there's still
they had all that
you get. That's what happens when you know people. Also, shout out to having people who need apartments that they have to rent out.
Yo, because I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, in-unit washer and dryer, and my...
Oh, no. What a terrible time for you to get kicked out of the room. I'm going to tell you something full of suspense, and then Facebook is going to kick me out. Because Facebook is a hater. Y'all, Facebook does not want this episode to happen. I don't know why. It's painful for me. Let's see if they will bring
it just kicked me off. Like, what did I do? I'm offended.
And like, what kills me is that usually like it'll freeze on me or Kristin, but like you just
I was just gone.
Oh, Facebook, that's really aggressive. Chill. Anyway,
but like I was saying,
so yeah,
I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom in unit washer, and my rent is $2,025. But The only reason why I can't afford it, no state income tax. Because the state income tax in Illinois was killing me.
Yes.
Like, I can do half the work here and make the same amount of money I was making in Chicago, and I get to have a life. In Chicago, I literally had to do 3 massages a day, 6 days a week. My only day off was either Saturday or Sunday, depending on the week. That's it. And if I could do more than 3, of course, I was going to take more than 3 massages.
Right. And for people wondering, that is how Toya and I met. Yeah. Doing massage together. That's in my past life. Okay, so that's the thing. So when you're assessing places to go, when you went back the second time, was that something you were cognizant of?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, don't get it twisted. Being here, it's a lot because there are a lot of people here, a lot of different cultures. And so it's a lot. And let's not talk about meeting people here. That's really hard.
I can imagine.
Because there's so many transplants that people try not to bond with people because they're always coming and going.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. Some people here are just downright rude and mean. So it took me...
I feel that.
It took me a while to make friends.
Is that something that is because we're Midwestern? I mean, I feel like most people come to Baltimore and be like, oh, I agree. These people are rude in general. But I feel like there's probably an extra layer of like aghast because you're from the Midwest. You're like, who raised you? Like,
I ask that every day. But you know what made sense to me? Especially, okay, I'm just going to switch real quick. The driving. Like, driving here, someone's either driving really, really fast or really, really slow. And I realized that was a cultural thing when I went to Puerto Rico for the first time and I had to drive around there. I was the only one that stopped at stop signs. I was the only one that stopped at stoplights. So I realized that people were driving here like they did in their home country. And so it's just as crazy
as free-for-all.
Basically, yes. If you're on the expressway, a free-for-all is the best way to describe driving on I-95 in Miami. That's why I don't. I just don't. I take the side streets however long it's going to take me. That's just how long it's going to take me.
I feel that. I feel it a lot. So,
but no. State taxes was a big thing. The next one was the weather.
Yes.
Because every time I go back home, I'm like, does the sun ever come out? Or is it always hiding?
I don't know. It's been real dreary here. I think, okay, so we got some things, right? I guess in planning your escape, it comes down to like what your values are, but in like a way more surface kind of way, like being sick of Chicago winters. I know how much more productive I am when it's sunny. And even if it means I don't leave my house, just the energy I have within my home is twice as much as when it's dark and cloudy from fucking December to April.
Right.
And just, like today, it was hoodie weather. I don't know what it was at home, but it was snowing last weekend. Like, so it's just like when I was thinking about places to go, one of the reasons that Baltimore didn't come up for me like DC did, purely on a, they need more experienced hospitality people than they currently have. So purely on like a career front, DC came up, but everywhere else I was looking was in the South because I wanted to be more productive. And I know one of the things that was really getting to me was my lack of productivity. And like, part of that is like the capitalist, you are only what you produce. But some of that is also like, I enjoy doing things and I don't have the energy for it. And like, I'm sick of not progressing in things I want to do for me. And just the ability to be outside. Like, I love sitting on the porch and I hate being able to just sit on the porch whenever the gods of Chicago's weather make space for it. So there were just a lot of things that were important to me that kind of showed themselves in other ways. But, you know, still trying to plan and plot to get out, to go somewhere to hit that for me kind of, it not even fell to the wayside, but like I couldn't get ahead enough to like realistically meet the goal of money I would feel comfortable saving before I moved. And so when I got this opportunity to come to Baltimore, I jumped at that because I was like, I get to see a new place, which is what I wanted. And like, ultimately I needed to get out of Chicago for my sanity. Like everything else could be figured out. So I left, and like, it happened to be exactly where I needed to go because I am still in close proximity to a DC. I can get to New York in 3.5 hours. Like I can get to Philadelphia in an hour and a half. Like, you know, it's just being closer to these places. I didn't necessarily need to be in them. And honestly, if I hadn't come to Baltimore, I wouldn't have had as easy access to some of the places I've been. So this, even though the city itself is not what I'm looking for, it was exactly what I needed.
Because you had more opportunity.
And like, that's what I needed.
You're doing so much more there than you were in Chicago. So, win-win.
When running away from home is the right move. Okay, but there's also, I feel like there's the side of people, and not to say that there's not any of this in why I moved. I just don't know about it. There's the side of people who move away from home to run away from their problems, not realizing that you take your shit wherever you go.
Man, I was running away from depression because I thought it was just a seasonal thing until it set in while I was living in the Sunshine State. And I was like, oh, it's not seasonal.
Yeah.
Because I am naturally introverted. And when I get into my introvert hole, I will get down in that bitch and be comfortable and just lay there and stay there. And it just so happens to, it hit me when work had slowed down and I hadn't made any friends yet. So I was literally in my apartment all the time.
Yeah.
I would sleep all day, watch Netflix all night. And then like a month or two of doing that, I was like, okay, something's wrong. It's not just I'm bored and I have nothing to do. Something is wrong. Like I was like calling my mom, like I think I have to come back home. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I, some way, somehow, I don't know. I still to this day, I don't know how. I forced myself up and out, and I forced myself to go find some friends. I just did it, and I was just like, I need to get out of the house. I need to be productive. I need to start doing stuff. If I don't, I'm going to go deeper in this hole, and I don't think I'll be able to come back out. So it forced me out of my comfort zone, and I had to do some stuff I had never done before, because in Chicago, I'm born and raised there. I knew people for years. So making new friends was not a thing for me.
Right.
But here, in a place where I knew no one, I had to put forth effort, and I've never had to do that before. So that was
what a blow to a Leo.
Girl. Can we not? Can we not?
Oh, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, friend.
And the first person I met here who became a really good friend, she's an Aries, and I love her.
Okay. These people are important. God damn it. Yeah, I think it's not a blow to my ego so much as it's a bummer, because I feel like it's a similar situation where people here are standoffish. They are confrontational. So me being the like, I brought my ball to the playground type of person, when people are rude, it's like, for what? I just wanted to play with you, asshole, but now I guess I don't. So it's like, you're kind of insulated because you're like also offended. Instead of just being like, oh, I really wanted to be your friend. You're like, fuck you, I don't even want to be your friend. But it helps to come here working, because then like for a while you're just like hanging out with work friends, but at least in working you get to meet, especially what I do, you get to meet other people all the time. So then you start to make those things. But I feel like making friends as an adult, like, not just being harder because duh, But I feel like there's more trial and error
Mm-hmm.
because, like, as a kid, nobody's as jaded as they are as adults. So, like, your trauma's not as detrimental, I guess.
Yeah, good old
It hasn't
trauma.
had 20 years to compound and get, exacerbated over time. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, like now I have to be like kind of mercenary about who I spend my time with and just be like, oh, okay, hang out with you was cool. It's like you're breaking up with people. Like, it's friendship when you move someplace is much more like
Yeah.
dating than it has ever
Yes,
been.
it is.
And I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, that one Aries friend, that's how I met other
Mm-hmm.
people. Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this again. I can't do it again. It's a lot
It's a lot.
for
And
me.
but we became friends like this. So it's not like either of us are like hard to get to know or be friendly
No,
with.
it's just that the majority of people are just not nice for whatever
They're not
reason. And I'm like, why are you all
nice.
so mean? Why are we mean?
And I hate, and this is like, I'm not being shady. I'm just being honest, and I don't know how to deliver this in a more compassionate way. But when people try to make me like qualify why I'm worth their time in Baltimore, I'm like, I am infinitely more fascinating than you just because of where I was born. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I get because I get mad because if you want to play elitism, like, let's play that game. Like, any other time, I'm just like, cool, let's be friends. But it's just like, oh, are you cool enough to sit with us? I'm like, Baltimore, calm down. Fucking reel it in. Like, get whatever ego you got. I'm sure you earned it in 1778. Like, that's great for
Oh.
you. Like, what have you done for me lately, Baltimore? And if somebody says The Wire, I'm going to explode. Like,
Oh,
Idris Elba was in The
goodness.
Wire, okay? Like, HBO
Oh,
gave you that,
goodness.
not Baltimore itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's one of those things where, and
That's
then people also think
funny.
I'm younger than I am, which I'm sure you get all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so you're gonna treat me like I'm young and dumb on top
Ooh,
of
but
it?
honestly, that's my favorite thing
I
because
hate that shit.
it's my favorite thing because once we start talking and they realize like, okay, wow, then they be like, how old are you?
Yeah, how old are you? Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I've
not
seen some
stupid.
stuff.
I've
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 been some places.
been here, done that, played this game before. Can we not?
Yeah, can we
Can
not?
we
And I
just
think
it just I just don't understand why people just don't enjoy each other's company and just take it for what it is.
because so I was having this conversation with somebody I went to camp with about how as I get older, upon first approach, it's a lot easier for me to ascertain if you are approaching me on some transactional shit or some get to know you shit.
Mhm.
And the transactional, it's almost like you can see the edges curling up, like they've pasted something on top of a page, and it's just like, oh, if I rip back something, I'm gonna see your ulterior motive. Like, what are you really talking to me for? Um, and I feel like some of that is to kind of lure you into a trap. Like, it's like people are so much more, at least some of what I've encountered here, is people are trying to find out if you are who you say you are. Like, not even prove to me. Like, I'm trying to catch you lying. I'm trying to find you out. And it's like,
That's exhausting.
I was just about to say, that's so exhausting. That is so exhausting. Because
I
also,
just
who even fucking cares if I am or if I'm not? Do we have a good time together? Like, ultimately, you're not like, oh, like, I don't want to hang out with her. She's fake. Why is she fake? Like, it's
how
about,
do
oh,
you
I
really
found out.
know?
How do
How
you
do you
really
really
know?
know? Can we just have a good time and just leave it at that?
No, no, because people are fucking weird.
They are. I remember one of the when I was trying to make friends. Okay, I have to preface this by saying the massage industry here in Miami is very different from Chicago. Chicago was
Okay.
very corporate, very businessy.
Yes.
When I first moved here, I took a position at a place that did massages in the hotels along South Beach.
Hmm.
And the woman had hired me without really meeting me because she was the fiance of the guy that we worked for in Chicago.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So he was like, "Oh, she's the best. She's really good." Da 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 da. So the first day I met her, she was like, "Oh my goodness, you're so cute. Thank God." I was like, "What does that have to do with whether or
That's a
not I'm a
huge
good massage
fucking red
therapist?" I was just like, "Okay, I gotta work here, so I'm just gonna let that slide."
flag. Right. Bitches
but
still
they're
gotta eat.
but they're very much like the spas here are very much like you have to be pretty, you have to be thin, you have to be this, you have to be that. Like when I first moved here, because I was so broke, I had dropped like 20 pounds the first month I came here. And she was so fucking relieved. I was just like,
Wow. That is horrifying.
I was like, oh, I only just worked with her for like 6 months. Like, I was like, ugh, I just couldn't. They're very superficial.
Yes.
So there was another black girl who worked there. And I was like, okay, we got some stuff in common. Maybe we can be friends. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we hung out one time, and I was like, we cannot be friends. This is a this is a very superficial city,
Uh-huh.
and I guess she called herself trying to do me a favor by introducing me to wealthy men, and I was like, are you trying to like pimp me out? Like, what is happening?
Yo, she wanted a finder's fee for your escort career.
I was like, what is happening?
I mean,
And
shout
so,
out to getting put on, but like, damn, girl, give me a minute. I just got here.
but the dude that she hooked, like, I don't care how much money you have. If I don't find you attractive, it's just not gonna happen. I'm not that person. But here, it's
Right.
a thing. Like, girls just date dudes because they got bank. And he thought he was impressing me, telling me how much money he made, where he lived, he got boats, blah blah blah. And I was just like, uh huh. Like, I was just, yeah, that was the last time because she was like, "Girl, aren't you excited to meet him?" And I was like, "He's not interesting." Yeah, but he's paid. I don't care.
Can you be paid and interesting? That's asking too much, huh?
Evidently, you can't because I've met a few here and none of them are. Like, as much as I be want to like
Oof.
live my best life on a boat,
Mm-hmm.
they don't hold my attention enough for all of that,
I feel that. I feel that so strongly.
and it makes me
Okay.
sad.
Yeah, because having money would be tight.
Especially here.
It's kind of
It's so much
super
room. It's
important
so much room for
there.
activities when you have so much more money here.
Yeah, I can see that would be a bummer. So, okay, let's talk about kind of, I guess, the positive cultural changes. This is
Oh,
where I'm gonna sound shady as fuck again,
oh.
but go.
Like, honestly, I didn't know, so like there was so many different cultures here in Miami. That's what must have been one of my favorite things coming here.
Yeah.
Like, me and the Caribbean people, yo, big ups to all the Caribbean islands out here. They make living here so much more fun. Like, seriously.
Yes.
Ah, the food. Look,
I knew you was gonna say that, and I was gonna be mad.
look.
I'm so mad.
Just the other night, my friend Ellie, she be hooking me up with the food. She made fried plantain. She made some rice. Some fried cheese. Lord, I love it. I just love. It's different for me because in Chicago it was it's not a lot of variety. It wasn't at least when I was growing up. Everybody kind of like
Oh,
kept
there's tons
themselves
of
kind of
variety.
separate.
You just gotta go.
Got to go way, way out to find it. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
No, here it's all compact. It's easy to get to. It's great. So much. Like, especially in the 6 years that I've been here, things have grown by leaps and bounds. Like, there's so many like great new bars and places to hang out. Like, I'm like a stone's throw away from Wynwood, where there are so many bars, so many places to visit. Like, I haven't even scratched the surface on the places that I need to go to, and I've already been here 6 years. It's
Yeah.
just so much to learn and so much to see.
I feel, excuse me, Corona's coming back. For me being here, I think the best part of being here, and this is also particular to me, is how black this city is. And like, Chicago is very black, obvi, but we are relegated to our neighborhoods. Like, people talk about the segregation in Baltimore, and I just chuckle. I try not to, because I hate when you say, like, I'm tired, and people are like, welcome to my world. You're like, go fuck yourself. Everybody's allowed to be tired. So Baltimore is allowed to be segregated just because Chicago is more segregated,
right?
Baltimore is not. But it's always like, because I guess that's the thing. Like, you leave home, you get new perspective. So people who've never left here see the segregation in Baltimore. They're like, oh my God, Baltimore's so segregated. There's no place more segregated than Baltimore. And I'm like,
well,
let me tell you about a magical land covered in snow. The North remembers. Like, God damn.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's just like, you never know who is going to walk into, like, the race of a person. What I don't like is that it is very heavily like white or black, which I'm not used to. Even being from Chicago, as segregated as it is, you still see everyone.
Yeah.
You see everybody. Whether y'all can hang out because y'all in the same neighborhood or not, completely different. But you see, there's an Indian restaurant, there's a Thai restaurant. There are all these things like enclosed, mixed upness. You know, the melting pot exists. Yeah. Here, the pot is more like a chocolate vanilla swirl cone, and then there's sprinkles of other people. As far as I've seen, like, I am enthusiastically waiting to be proven wrong. Like, there was a market I went to last weekend. It was put on by a lot of Pan-Asian community groups, so that was tight. So then you get to see all the Asian people. And you're like, yes, you're here. That's good. At least you're here, and I see you. There are tons of you. Where are you at normally? But that's how Baltimore works. Like, I don't want to say cliquey sounds so high school, but yeah, like, people keep to what is familiar here, and like, it's not, none of the stuff that we're saying is not like it doesn't happen in Chicago. Right. But there's if you are part of a group of people that are moving around constantly, which there are a lot of things to do in Chicago and a lot of people to be around that are those like-minded people, you don't really run into the cliquey bullshit. Right. Everybody too busy trying to support everybody. Like, if you're part of an artist community, you too busy trying to go to this show, collaborate with this person, learn this new medium that comes from that person there. So I feel like it's very much like, because everybody is so, I do what I'm used to, and I'm also used to these people, and they do the same shit that I do, you don't get to see the melting pot situation that you would in Chicago, even though we're literally in completely different neighborhoods. Like, I get it. Go home. So it's just like,
that's how it is here. It's just like everybody just kind of like comes together, like everybody. Like, honest, me being American, I'm like the odd person out every time. If I see another black person, I don't assume that they're American. I did that one time, and I was mistaken. They started speaking Spanish, and I was just like, and he knew.
Like, there goes me.
And he knew. He was like, I'm Dominican. I was like, got it. And ever since then, I don't assume any black person is American. I'm like, they can be black this, black something else, but I don't automatically assume American anymore. Nope.
That's tight. That's the kind of
I love it.
That I
love it. What?
Please make me a better person by proximity. Like,
yes.
So, okay. So now let's call it 3 years in the future. Do you still see Miami being the place that you want to be?
Yes. Like, I'm always going to have, like, this is always going to be my hub city. Like, I may not be here all year long, but this is where I want to, like, this is where I want to settle.
Okay. So this
Until,
move was
oh yeah,
the right move.
because it's the easiest, it's the best place to be because I like tropical climate,
Mm-hmm.
and because my parents are getting older, I don't want to be too far from them. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna move to an island, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yet.
Sometime in the future, but not yet. So this is the closest that I can be to the tropics all
Mm-hmm.
year round and still be 2 hour, 2.5 hours away from my parents.
Yeah.
So no, so
How
yeah.
close I am to Chicago is definitely
Yeah.
a bonus. And it's cheap.
It's cheap if I go ahead and use Spirit.
Yeah, it's not really cheap to get to you.
No, it's not. Because
But
I go where I live where people vacation, so it's going to always cost a lot to get here. Unless you come in the summertime, no one's really trying to be here in the summer because it's too goddamn hot.
that's how New Orleans is. That's like when I want to be there when it's like extra sweaty balls. It's like
Oh,
9 a.m. and it's 85 degrees. I'm like,
come here in
yes.
August. Come here in August. That's exactly what you'll get.
I love it. I'm a crazy person. Okay, so what are, I guess, but I feel like for both of us, there was no staying at home. Like, staying at home was
Mm-mm.
completely the wrong decision. So it's not even like a pros or cons situation, because like con was I would have stayed at home and continued to slide into my depression, and that would have been awful.
Basically.
Yeah, like that was me. Like I was like, I've never felt this consistently bad before. Like, something has to change, and the thing that I've wanted to change for the longest is the thing that seems furthest away. So it's like I'm not expecting a magic bullet situation, but like I kind of got one, but like I immediately got here and shit was possible for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not, I was moving because I felt stuck. Like, I needed to rev my engine, but I wasn't necessarily looking for all of these like windows of opportunity to open and doors to open the way that they have since I've been here.
For Chicago to be such a big city, it has very little opportunity. Like, at least I felt that way in the massage industry.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it was on the decline. And I was like, I need to get up out of here before I can't, before I'm not making no money no more.
Right.
Because it just got harder to, like, for some reason, I don't know why, the thought of paying for consistent massage just doesn't, it didn't when I was there, click
Mm-hmm.
for my massage clients. Like, they would just call when they were just in extreme pain, or they had extra time, or they didn't make it a priority. Now,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not gonna lie, it took 4 years for me to build up my clientele, but once I got them, oh my God, I see at least between 3 and 5 people weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't see that happening in Chicago. And it's probably for various reasons. Like, it's easier for people to have that, to free up, to have that money freed up. In Chicago, it's hard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you go to the grocery store, and if you live in Cook County, your taxes is 10%. If you spend $100 on groceries, it's $110 to get your groceries.
Yeah.
Parking. Like, if you park on the street, when I left, it was $7 for 1 hour. I don't even want to know what it is now. So, and to me, it's like the people in Chicago needed it more than anyone else because they were dealing with so many like environmental things and that they had no control over.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't think that they had the money to do it. And then, of course, things at the
Yeah.
company that we worked for was kind of breaking down and going haywire. And I
Jesus.
refused to go back to the spa industry. I'm like, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because thanks to the massage envies of the world, that went to pot. So I just felt it was like in Chicago, it was a huge shift. And I was just like, I literally can't stay here because I won't have any work. So I need to go to a
Yeah.
place where like the hospitality is king. Like,
Mm-hmm.
cause this is what the economy thrives on. And I was
Yeah.
like, either Miami or Vegas. I'm glad I didn't choose Vegas because it's too dry. Like
Yeah, I thought about Vegas
oh, but
when I was still doing massage.
you can make so much money in 3 months in Vegas. I still might do that one of these years, just kind of go out there for 3 months, rack up the money, and then come back home and like chill for a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. That'd be tight. Um, I feel like that's also the thing in Chicago. It's just like, and there's a lot of this here in Baltimore. This like grin and bear it, like
No,
pull
I didn't
yourself
want to
up
do
by your
that.
bootstraps,
I
kind
was
of
I
just
was
get
tired
through
of
it, buttercup.
working hard and not working smart. I was tired. I was exhausted.
Yeah. And
No.
it was like you said, I think part of me feeling like I was spinning my wheels, not I think, part of me spinning my wheels was having that experience with the company we work with where you're just watching it tear apart from the inside. It's not even like, oh, the economy is impacting it. Like it did.
Mm-mm.
Like massage took a hit with the Great Recession. Like, cool, great. Um, but this was when everything was bouncing back. And so then at that point, it just became people's personal business
Was
tearing a company apart.
a
Um,
productive company. Oh.
a, doing numbers, you know, and then having worked in so many situations like that, you just feel like you're constantly starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And not to make everything about age because time is a construct, but you do get to a certain point and you're like, all right, I can't keep starting over.
Yep.
Like I need to see some growth. It's not even necessarily like I need to acquire certain things. I need for my own mental and emotional welfare to look back and say, I've been here for a year and I'm not in the same place that I was a year ago. And of course, that's
Right.
because I'm a personally ambitious person. There are tons of people who don't give a single fuck about that. However, I am not one of those people. Like, I want to see growth. I want to see the work that I'm putting in reap bounty. Like, if I'm working hard for a company that could just dissolve because y'all going through a divorce, like,
Man, oh man.
what the fuck was I doing? And like you said, like the misogyny comes into it, and it's just like, all right, so now I'm in my second career, and I'm in this huge market, but like, there's something that's not clicking about me in the hospitality market there now. Like, I feel like I'm doing these things to move forward in my career, but I'm constantly like hitting a wall of working with shitty, restaurant groups.
Whew.
Or like, here's some misogynoir at the gay club that you work at because, no, despite the contributions of Black women, we don't really want them behind our bar. Like, feeling like you're giving a lot and you're learning and not having the opportunity to put that towards something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
not for real. Like, of course you can work at a company and they just dissolve. That's true. But when there's just like, all right, gal, we all gave it a good college try. Everybody was pulling for everybody. It sucks. But at least you feel like you accomplished something, even if that company goes under, versus
Mm-hmm.
feeling used and then left outside with nothing at the end of that.
Yep.
Ugh. Ugh.
Like, I cannot lie. I am so grateful for the people that I have met here. Right now, I'm working for a physical therapy clinic. The owner is another Aries, but she is an amazing person because with her, it's not just her clinic; it's our clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting, especially in Chicago, I don't like just seeing clients once. I like
Right.
seeing your progress, you know? I like connecting with my clients. Like, and at the clinic, I have that. Like, I've seen people come in, like, it was this one guy, he came in, he was in a really bad motorcycle accident. And in a year, Like, he had neck brace, both his arms was broken, clavicle was broken, all kinds of craziness. In a year, we were able to get him doing things that his doctors said that he would never be able to do. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
That's
magic of massage, y'all.
I mean, I swear, if it wasn't so expensive to go to PT school, I would. Like, I'm not even lying, but I'm not spending $150,000. I'm just not.
It's a lot of money. Okay.
But yeah, well, I just that's tangible to me. That's something that I can see and feel and touch and experience, and that's what's important to me. Like, I just don't want to just be massaging people and never seeing them again.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's my birthday. Like,
exactly.
Like, I do want a massage on my birthday. I have scheduled many massages on my birthday. Don't get me wrong. But I see you because it was a gift on your birthday that your partner set up for you, not because you've decided that this is an important part of your wellness and self-care program. I hear you. Okay, so when people are moving, I guess, what would be kind of like, if you could do like 3 bullet points of things, I don't want to say precautions, because I feel like that puts it into a negative light, but like things to think about, just things to be aware of or to consider, not be aware of, to consider.
How attached are you to your things? That's a big, that was a big thing for me. Because I had to get rid of it all when I found out that it was going to be like $2,000 to move my stuff from Chicago to Miami. I was like, all this can stay. I can start over. No big deal.
Yep.
That's
but $2,000, I fucking can start over with nice stuff this time.
Like, seriously.
Hey, you $2,000 to move all this shit I bought secondhand off Craigslist? No.
Like, no. It makes you really like, oh, okay, what's important to you? Honestly, set a budget and then go maybe, if you can, $3,000 to $5,000 over that. Because what I moved with, I would never suggest anyone do what I did. And like I said, the only reason why I was able to do what I was able to do is because I had a good support system. When I got here, my friends were living here. Like, I had places to stay. I didn't have to come here and then immediately move into an apartment.
Right.
I could wait a little bit. And even then, I had to move in with first, last, and security. Like, they don't play down here. Like, you have to put down all the money to get an apartment.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can, it's like, it might take you longer, but even if you gotta like do a side hustle to save, just save literally as much money as you can. And then also think about, because this is another thing I didn't really take into consideration. I thought I could be away from my family, no big deal. That first year, calling my mama every day, all day. Like, seriously, I was like, yeah, when I live in Chicago, I see them, once a week, once every 2 weeks. It's no big deal. No, it's different when you can't just hop in the car and go see your mom and daddy. Like,
for sure.
The fact that I was like, oh, wow, if my car breaks down, I can't call my father. I can't call my brother. That was a big deal. Like, they were always there. Now they're 1,700 miles away.
Yeah.
They're not here. So those are the things, like, just be prepared to like really miss your family. Even if they get on your nerves, you're going to miss not having that access to them. So yeah.
It's like an ex. It's like, I don't actually miss you. I miss access to you though. I think for me, I mean, be prepared to get rid of your shit is huge. I didn't even think about that, but I was like, yeah, be prepared. I mean, we got Marie Kondo with a show on Netflix. So already get into that mindset, because if the opportunity to leave comes up, it is so stressful to wonder about your shit.
Yep.
So when you're budgeting, if you are planning to bring your stuff, like, you don't budget like you move in within your city, because that's how you get fucked up.
Yep.
That's what you're thinking. You're like, oh, $3,000 should be enough. It's like, yeah, if you're moving within your city, because then you only pay a couple $100 for movers versus literally a couple $1,000 to move your stuff. So be mindful of what you want to do with your things is very, very real. I would say be mindful of your motivations before you even decide where you want to go. Like I said, I'm in an industry group, and a lot of people are always trying to, like, I want to leave my market. I feel stuck here, blah, 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 which is exactly the stuff I was saying. But I've always lived in Chicago. So mine was much more the urge to leave the nest versus there are people who are jumping from industry to industry trying to, like, become the it bartender. Like, career was an important part of me deciding to move, but I wasn't chasing famous bartender status, you know? And, like, if that's your move, I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing. Just be mindful that that's what you're looking for.
Right. And be honest about it.
And be fucking honest.
With yourself.
With yourself.
If that's how you feel, admit it to yourself.
If that's your move, that's your fucking move. And, like,
no judgment.
Congratulations on being an adult. You get to make that decision for yourself. Like, but know why you're moving. Like I said, if you're running from yourself, you take you wherever you go.
Yep.
So the things that you think are everybody else's fault, or if you're moving to just, like, get a change of scenery, be mindful of what that means. That means that you are giving up your entire support network to go try to figure it out and get a change of scenery somewhere else. So a change of scenery needs to be grounded in something, I'm not even gonna say a little bit more concrete, because I'm wanderlust adjacent. Like, sometimes you do want to just get up and go somewhere different, but I feel like you still have to be intentional about that.
Right.
Because your change of scenery could go from green grass to brown grass. It could be greener grass, but, like, have in mind what you're looking for when you're leaving. Also, be prepared to be alone when you move.
Whew, yes. That is real.
Raging extrovert, but I love alone time. So the alone time is fine until you reach a threshold where you're like, okay, I'm no longer alone because I want to be alone. I'm alone because I can't be in a group, because I don't have a group to be in. And when you're sick of everybody, right, when you're sick of everybody, that first couple of weeks, you're like, fuck yeah, I get to, like, have a clean slate, blah, 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 blah. But when it's time, you're starting to build a life somewhere. So you have, you've lost the people who were there to root for you and be in your corner on a consistent basis. And, like, yes, you can call them, and phone calls are great. We live in a time of FaceTime and house parties, so you can actually see people. But there is something to be said about, like, I had a second interview for a job I'm really excited about today. To be able to burst into a room, like fucking not Zuko. What's his name from The Emperor's New Groove? But just, like, boom, baby. And I just had an interview. I'm jazzed, or I'm terrified. I'm some weird fluctuating combination of both. And just have somebody be like, okay, you want to do a shot? You want a hug?
I miss that. I miss that.
Yes. I miss being able to celebrate with people.
I miss that. I just miss being able to call somebody and be like, because they've been there for you for so long, and they immediately know, like, yes, I have that here, but I'm still building on it.
Yes.
But when you have your day ones.
Yes.
Like, I'm creating that new day ones, but when you have your day, like,
when I go back Florida.
When I go back to Chicago, I'm like, oh, I got to see so-and-so and so-and-so. I have to, like, I can't just go for 3 days because there's so many people that I have to see and spend
Yeah.
time with and love on.
Mm-hmm. That last part.
You know?
It's
So it's
it's a
just
very
different.
real thing.
It's
Yeah.
different.
And how everybody celebrates is good. Also, is kind of regional. Like, of course, you have people who are more like huggy, and then depending on where you're from, there's more huggy and there's less huggy. And just you've cultivated, whether like I have a lot of friends from high school that I'm still friends with. So at this point in my life, I've known these people longer than I've not known them. They've been a part of my life longer than they've not been. So like they are a part of me.
Yeah.
And those people who've seen your different evolutions for good and for bad, who love you through it, are the people that you get so used to being able to be like, bet. Like, I don't have to worry about you being jealous of this good news. I don't have to worry about you being judgy of this bad news. Like, I know that if I don't go to you, you're going to be mad. So I need to call you.
Right.
And being away from those people, you try not to spend all your time doing comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. How
say that again.
When you get into a new city and you haven't established these connections, it's like, so who of you doesn't suck? Like, who of you can come fill these voids in my life? You're never gonna be these people, but like, are there people here that are actually cool and like want to support each other and actually want to cheer for each other or not? Like, luckily,
I'm grateful to have found
that. I found some. Yeah,
I'm grateful to have found that. So
like, I got invited to a wedding. I got my save the date already. I got the, all the pictures of the dresses I got to see. So it's like, it happens over time. It's definitely a time and exposure thing. But like we said, it's like dating. Like you're dating friends for real. Like, friendship is always like dating.
It is.
But now you're really sitting down with people, and unfortunately, unlike your tried and true friends, you still got to see what's underneath all of the shit when you meet somebody. So those would be my 3 things. I can't even recap them, but that last one is super important. Be prepared to be by yourself. If you leaving because, like, if you move to New York because you want to be around a lot of different types of people, you're going to spend a lot of time in your apartment, in your room. So even though you've moved to a bigger city, you still need to be prepared to be by your fucking self.
Yes. And thank goodness I was like the queen of being by myself by the time I left here. So, because even when I lived in Chicago, I had roommates and I was just like spirited away into my room.
Yeah.
It was like, this bitch don't never like to come out and socialize. No, not really.
She sure don't. She's hanging out in her room, living her best life.
Yeah.
All
but
right,
as soon as I was away from him, I was like, I miss everybody.
I miss everyone. I hate all of you people who are not my friends. Like a fucking child. That shit is real. Anyway, do you have any parting advice, advice, or I don't know, something for the people?
If you want to move, don't let nothing stop you. Just go ahead and do it. Figure it out. Make it happen. Just do it.
Get the fuck on. Like, that's it. Yeah.
Figure it out.
And I think I'm thinking this now, so I want somebody to try it and get back to me. But even like I said, like, I wanted to move to New Orleans. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. It hit all of my buttons. I'm in Baltimore now. So if you need to get out, maybe it's not a direct to your ideal place. Maybe you do have to take a pit stop. Not all flights are non-stop flights.
That's a
direct
good point.
And non-stop do not mean the same thing. Direct flights can have stops, guys. But like, maybe you just need to get away from the people who know you. Maybe that's kind of a problem, is that people have known you so long that there's no room for growth anymore, because everybody's already got a very firm, very solid idea of who you are. And if you're trying to grow and change and come and turn into this beautiful butterfly, you can't necessarily do that under the weight of people knowing you. and feeling like who you are is static. So maybe you might have to do a hop, skip, and a jump before you get to your dream city, but like be open to getting the fuck out because you
That's a
need to leave.
very good point.
Yeah.
I like
Baltimore
that.
wasn't it, y'all. But here I am. The opportunity presented itself, and shit that I really like and really gave a fuck about are presenting themselves in a city that I did not think about. So,
bam.
Just saying. All right, cool. Well, usually at the end of the show, Kristin and I do a one thing. So, one thing that you want people to know or better understand, whatever you want that to be. It's completely up to you.
Huh. Okay, I'm just gonna like throw this out there. Massage is something that is necessary in everyone's life.
Yes.
It is not something that you do just for fun or entertainment. It is a necessary part of self-care. And I hope that more of you add it into your self-care program. Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. Massage is cool. Massage is great. You should get a massage. Bye, bye, bye. And make sure you tip 20%, bitches.
Please.
We don't live off of tips the same way that I do now, but we still live off of tips.
Yes, we do.
That's gas, baby.
Yes, it is. Or lunch.
Or lunch. Groceries at the end of your shift when you walk across the street from Trader Joe's. Couple 2-3 times. I used to love doing my grocery shopping after the shift with my tip money. That shit was tight. I guess it's my one thing in light of me just having had this interview, and of course it's a lot easier to be like, well, I don't have this and I don't have that going for me, instead of being like, I nailed it, I got that job. But in those moments, there's a very particular energy that I know I need. And my one thing for to encourage people to do is like, see the person standing in front of you and try to ascertain their needs so that you can meet them. Mm-hmm. Maybe you think that you've addressed the important thing to that person, but if they are giving you, I wish you would really address this with me. Like, clearly I have some misgivings and I'm feeling like highs and lows of like, I did this really well, but I feel like I might have, dropped the ball here. Like, sit down and actually be present with that person, engage with that person. Because that's what I wanted when I came home. Like, I was hopped up and like ready to talk about it and kind of chop it out. And then I get home and my partner's got his phone in his face and he's just like engaging and talking to me about it. And it's like, could you just like be here for me right now? I want this.
Can we be here together?
I want some FaceTime,
Can we be here?
FaceTime. Yeah, here. like I really, and I know like a lot of that does stem from stuff in my personal past that has nothing to do with him at all. But that don't mean that's not what I wanted or not what I did. Like, where it stems from is not necessarily the fucking point. But it's just like feeling in these moments where you want to celebrate or you want to mourn or you want to feel any number of things on the human spectrum of emotion, and feeling like you are somehow inconveniencing this person. And then they're like, well, why are you quiet? You're like, what was my other option? To continue to feel like I'm talking at you and not with you? Or that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. So I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna try to like wrangle my feelings, because I do understand that this is not coming from necessarily just this instance, but like, be present with people when you are with people.
Yes, that's important.
Especially when you know a big thing has happened. I get that it's hard to be present every day, but let's all just try a little bit better. Try a little harder to be better at being present for our
I like those
ones.
words. I like those words.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It's a good time. Chopping it up about the stuff and the things. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. Huh?
Of course. I said I was gonna be real lonely by myself,
Just
talking at
talking,
people on the camera.
talking to the ether. So silly.
I do it enough. I do it all the time by myself, for real. Like the cat gets a lot of this nowadays. But yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for talking about your move from Chicago to Miami. Do you want to let the people know where they can find you? Because if not, that's totally fine.
No, yeah, no, please. I do Instagram more than Facebook nowadays.
Yes, every smart person does.
I can
Just to
be
put that out there.
found. I just changed my Instagram name, and I think it's the underscore muscle underscore whisperer MIA. I think that's what it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. If not, you can just search my name, Latoya Trotter, and that might pop up too. I would appreciate it if you did. And if you,
Yay.
anyone here living in Miami, you can DM me about massages. That's a thing that can happen.
Except we don't do this because your shit would get real tired and it's not effective. But this is a universal symbol for massage. Because this looks fucking weird. Like, what are you doing? Don't you want a massage? This isn't weird at all.
Not from someone that's looking like that. No,
crazy.
You're creeping me out.
From me. Oh God. But yeah, I kind of want somebody to come up to me and be like, "You want a massage?" Like, ew.
So I can laugh in their face.
It's like, I mean, if you do that, just down my back. But yeah, where can you find me? I am at on the Instas as well at the _black_. No, I'm not the _. I am at black_Teena, TEENA _Marie, at Black Teena Marie on the Instagrams. I am also on the Facebook because of the show at In Pursuit of Black Excellence, and on Instagram the show is Pursue Black Excellence. So come find us, come hang out.
Excellence.
Because Black excellence is excellent. It's original composition. I wrote it right now. I'm super good at music, guys. Thank you, Zoya, for coming.
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Of course. So if y'all want to like, share, comment, all of the stuff on the replay, please do that. It would be great. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your Throwback Thursdays, kids. Bye.